to our second topic, which is Jedi Fallen Order predictions. We just watched the trailer to this before we jumped into this part here. Before we jumped into the video, the recording, and what do you think of it so far? Made by Respawn, EA's publishing.
Like I told you, it's got EA's name on it.
It does have it, but it also has Respawn's name on it.
And they did make Titanfall. I like Titanfall. Didn't play too much, but I played Titanfall at a time where I was just so burnt out on first-person shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend got it. I'm like, what is this? This looks fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it was. Like, Titanfall has been really fun. I came out at a time where the second one, where I was kind of burnt out. I'm like, I don't really want to play it. And at the time, like, EA just got worse and worse. But again, Respawn. I know it's Respawn, but just you throw those two letters on any game, any box art.
The Electronic Arts.
I do like I want to throw up.
Yeah, the thing about when I knew that Respawn was the next to take on a Star Wars franchise, it puts it into, I think they're the only ones that are going to come out of this whole deal that actually succeed at what they are, what Disney wanted their games to be.
Yeah, until LucasArts comes in and makes the next one.
Because with Disney's, so I think it was oh man, now I don't even know. I'm not even going to throw the number out there. But it's a numbered contract that EA gets exclusive rights into making Disney's Star Wars games. And so that contract was done let's see here. So last year was Battlefront 2, right?
I think that was 2 years.
2 years ago was
Battlefront
Battlefront 2?
I could be wrong.
Anyway, we've gotten 2 games. Not very much games have been happening. We're getting our third installment to this whole Star Wars deal. And nothing against DICE, who are the guys who've been making it in the past times. The Battlefield crew has been making these games. Or the Battlefront. No, Battlefield.
Yeah,
Battlefield. That's what
Battlefield makes Battlefront.
God. So anyway, they make both of them. and visually, the games have been stunning. Visually, the games have been great. The sound effects in Star Wars, in Battlefront 2 and Battlefront are insane to make it almost feel like you're really there. And that's the thing that you get when you're building Battlefield. Is like Battlefield plays almost exactly like that. Visually, it's great, all that stuff. Mechanically, both of those games have fallen very short, and that's kind of the problem that have happened with why people aren't really buying Battlefield anymore, why people have started to not buy Battlefront. The whole microtransaction thing, I look at that as a kind of a, what is it? A good thing in disguise, something like that. A blessing in disguise. That's what I.
Well, it takes the voting with your wallet. It actually worked. Well,
yeah.
And then they're like, oh, this game that you thought was dead, we're going to add Obi-Wan to it. We're going to add Anakin and Grievous.
Well, that's why I was looking at
and
it
I was like,
with the blessing in disguise thing is, if that whole microtransaction situation didn't happen, video games as an industry, I don't know where it would have kept going. And eventually someone would have kept doing it until they would have got to where Battlefront 2 was. And that's why I think that it was bound to happen, to see how far companies can go until people voted with their wallets. And clearly what EA did with Battlefront 2 was that line. That's the line, and everyone figured out, okay, we need to add incentive into you playing, and then you get games like Apex Legends. You get games like Fortnite, or games that are PUBG that allow you to purchase the thing, but it's not going to cause you any extravagant thing. Overwatch did it before them, but they were a little bit earlier the curve. That's why I didn't throw them into this conversation. But the thing is like, because of what they've done, I feel like they've learned a lot from what it is.
You would think that, you would hope that they learned.
Hopefully. Maybe not EA as a whole, but some of the companies and some of the sub-companies that work for EA,
right,
I think are going to learn this. And I think Respawn is by far the one anti-EA company that's under the EA umbrella, because they've been screwed by them not once, but twice. And then they decided, you know what? We're making our own game. You're telling us that we have to release this game. We're going to release it when we want to. We're not going to tell anybody. We don't want advertisements. We're going to release it. They release Apex Legends and it soars off. It only leaked like a couple days before the release, which is insane in today's day and age.
Okay, so I only know, like, we talked about this earlier, but the Titanfall, that they got kind of screwed over because it came out around the same time Battlefield came out. What was the second time, or what was another time they got screwed over?
Well, Titanfall, the first one, they kind of just didn't really do anything with it. Like Xbox was the only people advertising that game. Like every time you saw an advertisement, it's usually an Xbox. And so when I looked at, I definitely think that with Titanfall 2, it was definitely the biggest slap to the face and definitely the more blemish on the relationship between Respawn and EA, because they put them, I think it was a week before or a week after Battlefield, Battlefield
and then Call
1,
of Duty.
and Call of Duty came out the week after that.
But that's not EA, but still.
Yeah, no, it was three shooters that came out right after each other.
But still, to like have them all come out at the same time, and not only that, they have another game coming out. They have to compete with themselves.
Yes. Yeah, it's just when I look at how EA does have, a lot of people shit on EA, and they rightfully deserve it at some points. I think Activision deserves more of it than how EA gets it.
Activision's bad
but
too.
I think EA gets the blunt force of the bat because they are the ones that I think have been in the light a lot longer. And so when Activision's been around for decades, but EA has really set foot themselves into places. Anyway, when I look at EA, I go, man, you guys have the stuff. You have what you can do with all the things you have. You have the top sports games. You have monopolies over football, American football, and
basketball.
No, they don't have basketball. No, because 2K took that title.
Oh.
But you have like football, hockey, and basketball. I throw it in there.
Baseball?
They don't have baseball anymore
2K.
either.
That's 2K too.
No, MLB The Show.
Oh.
Yeah, they took that too. So it's like you have sports games, FIFA being one of the biggest games that they have, and worldwide. There's just so many things that EA once was. Like you play any of the Electronic Arts that came out back in the early 2000s. Harry Potter, all those games were made by EA. Like, it's just crazy to think that a lot of these games.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they say EA Games challenging everything, and like they
do
that whole thing, and and it's so crazy how big EA eventually got, and then they made Medal of Honor, they made all these fantastic games, and then for some reason over the corner of the 2010s, we just have kind of from 2010 to 2019. There's just something that has not connected with a lot of their stuff. I don't know why and what it is.
You could say the same thing with Activision too.
True. I'm just kind of
throwing
rocks at EA right now.
Oh, but those are the two biggest, I'll say it, blemishes in the gaming industry is EA and Activision with their whole profits. Like, I could just see them like talking to developers to be like, they're like, hey, we need more time. No, you have a deadline.
Now
fix it in post.
Here's the thing though. When EA also publishes games like A Way Out, which was made by the guy who made Brothers, and came out last year, I believe, and it was about the two people. It was the couch co-op game where they're in the prison and whatnot.
I vaguely remember hearing about that. Never played it.
So here's the great game. The deal that EA has is they will publish your game and give you full 100% of the profit.
Okay, that's kind of cool.
And because of that, A Way Out sold so well that that company now has a bigger studio because EA allowed them to publish that. They just publish the game and they let it go. So the thing is there are things that EA does correctly. There are just things that they can't dig themselves out of that just continually throw themselves into bad business decisions. And but with a story-based game like A Way Out, it allowed them to, kind of
it's also cool.
To boost that company.
What I really like about this new Star Wars game is there's an actual story. Granted, Battlefront.
I mean, that's all we've seen so far.
Well,
it's just the story.
yeah, no,
the first thing we saw was a story trailer.
Yeah. But I mean, Battlefront 2 had a story, but good. Like I only seen a little bit about it.
Very short.
But good God, was it dumb?
Yeah.
And predictable.
Yeah, and it didn't look very good.
No, it was so bare bones. It's like they slapped it on last minute.
I played a little bit of it. Yeah.
And
I saw where they were going with that, but it for some reason didn't look good in cutscenes, which was weird. And I was like, isn't this in game?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
And going back to Battlefront 2, how do you not have Obi-Wan and Anakin day one?
Yeah.
And like again, when my
Then again, they probably were waiting for Grievous though too, because that was the same update.
I don't care. Like the section, the selection of characters they had at the start.
Oh, it was pretty bad.
Poor.
It was pretty bad. But again, that comes back to if we didn't get those microtransaction debacle, I don't know if they would have like continued to keep digging and trying to get more characters in it.
Going back to the gameplay of that.
Jedi Fallen Order?
No.
Oh.
Battlefront.
Two.
Damn it. You're doing the same thing. Yeah, those. Not the good one on PlayStation 2 and Xbox, which, by the way, it's on Games for Gold.
It is.
Oh,
it might be one more week when this airs. But after that,
I saw that and I freaked. I'm like, oh my God, yes. Yeah. Download.
Which is weird. It's like, are those servers still on? Like, who?
I don't know.
Who at EA has those servers turned on?
Okay,
but anyway,
so I was watching lightsaber fights. It looks so clunky and awkward in Battlefront 2.
The
EA version.
Okay.
It just looks so bad and clunky and awkward, and and even like with Boba Fett, like you can't zoom in. I think it's Boba. It's Boba. I don't know what monkey decided that was okay, but going back. Okay, let's go back to a positive note with the trailer. Story. We were talking about this last time. Stories and games.
No, Jedi Fallen Order.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm happy. I'm happy they're making the story the more focal point because EA or like Respawn. Let's go Respawn. Titanfall and Apex have been just all multiplayer games. Minus 2 where they added this story, but Titanfall the first one came out multiplayer only.
Yeah, and the story was in the multiplayer.
Yeah,
yes, it was a multiplayer game. Yes.
So, what I would like to see from this new one, because again, I wouldn't put money down on it, but I think it's a good bet to say that there will be some kind of multiplayer, some kind of team death. I think, or
now
we can have something like in the OG Battlefront. Galactic Conquest, which everyone loved, and why EA didn't have it in Battlefront 1 or 2.
Yeah, I really hope if Battlefront 3 comes out, they put Galactic Conquest
I don't understand.
Because they want you to go and play and pay. They want you to play and pay. That was the whole dynamic of the whole launch of that game.
Yeah.
Because if you make Galactic Conquest, people aren't going to go play online. And that makes it so that they don't do it.
Just from a consumer standpoint, from video games and just Star Wars, loving them both, I don't understand how EA dropped the ball so hard. They literally got the golden goose.
This is my thing about with WWE, it being with 2K. I think 2K has been not great. Like they keep trying to do what they did with SmackDown vs. Raw, because SmackDown vs. Raw was owned by THQ, and bear with me here. I got a point here, so hold on a second. But SmackDown vs. Raw was held by THQ, and they kept doing like GM mode, where you could like draft wrestlers to each brand, and then you could go through like a whole year of trying to beat the other show, which was fun. It was just like kind of a cool thing. You got to be the general manager of Raw or SmackDown. Then they took it away towards the end of SmackDown vs. Raw, and then you started to realize, oh, THQ is about to go out of business. And then they did, and then WWE 2K, so 2K came in and bought it, the licensing, and then started making WWE games. They have, since then, have not done anything, and in SmackDown vs. Raw, there also used to be a story mode. They took that out. There is no story mode as much as dynamic as SmackDown vs. Raw was, or how the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain and series before and Raw 2 on the Xbox. It just, for some reason, they just never did the story or that. So I come back to the same what we were just talking about with with Star Wars. Too many S's in this thing. With Star Wars and with with EA owning those rights, why they don't. I don't know if there's some sort of thing where like licensing right issues about a company that used to own it, and maybe that's the reason why they can't do exactly the same thing. But I'm like, dude, you own the thing, and you have Disney backing you up. If you need the money, go and buy the right to do that mode. I don't know if people can patent modes. I don't know if that's the thing.
And like it makes it even more especially sad because like the games that came out like in the PS2 Xbox era were so cool.
Yeah.
What was it Rogue Squadron?
Rogue Squadron
The Bounty Hunter game, that Darth Maul game that got canceled for some strange reason.
Yeah, that one was interesting. I'm kind of glad we didn't get that one.
But like assets, like they can easily bring back that Darth Maul game.
Sure.
I would love a Darth Maul game, dude. Even Episode 3, the video game they made for Episode 3 was really fun.
They made Clone Wars a game too. They made Star Wars: The Clone Wars, the pre-reboot Cartoon Network one, because there was the other one. You remember when Clone Wars got like a movie and they were animated? Anyway, it was that one. That was what it was based on, and then the cartoon started.
It's again EA. I don't understand how they can just drop the ball so hard. The franchise literally is made to make money.
Yeah, but here's the other thing. Here's the question. Here's the $1 million question, because obviously it's costing them $1 million.
Because they don't know.
Is the reason why the Star Wars franchise is the Star Wars franchise not pulling people in anymore? Because I mean, Disney has been getting yelled at over constantly of the fact that, well, Lucasfilm in general, but that people are getting more Star Wars fatigue. Mark Hamill even went on Twitter and saying like
that's their own damn fault for.
But here's my other thing. I don't care. I will go and see a Star Wars movie. I will see anything that's Star Wars. It's kind of like with the Marvel stuff. I will go and see a Marvel movie because it's once a year and you go and see it. Now, some people will go, "Oh, I'm getting burned out on it. I don't want to watch it." Then you don't have to watch it. You can just take a break. When the movie comes out, you don't gotta go see it. You can wait another year. Now, the other issue on that is like the devil's advocate, I guess, situation is, if there is too much of a good thing, does it then become numb to that thing, and the quality of that content is going down?
I'm in more in that. See, I'm in both boats.
That's why I'm saying. Like I'm also there, but I'm also throwing out the question.
So okay,
I'm in both sides
like,
too. I'm kind of on that line.
I'm in. Just recently. God, when did the I want to say when Civil War came out. That's when I got back into Marvel, because like I didn't really follow it too closely. Like I saw like the Iron Man movies.
You were just an average.
Yeah, the Avengers movies, and then when Civil War came out, boom! Like there's only like 2 or 3 Marvel movies I have not seen, and Endgame, like I'm hyped for that. With Star Wars, I have been saying since day one when Disney's like, we're gonna release a movie every year. I'm like, that is a terrible idea, because if you look, okay, let's look back at the prequels, or like the past 6 movies before Disney came out. It was even The Force Awakens. How long has it been since we got a Star Wars movie? Yeah. It was an event, and then when you water it down every year, that special feeling goes away. However, I am not against more Star Wars content. I just want it done right and well thought out. I have not seen Solo, so I'm not going to comment on that. I've heard it's okay.
Yeah.
But Rogue One has been the best Star Wars movie to come out so far since Disney has got their hands on it.
Okay. Yeah, the thing about with how EA could be dealing with the situation is when we saw this at the first beginning part of this whole deal, when EA came out on E3 and they were like, "Oh yeah, we're working on this game with Amy Hennig and she's doing a Star Wars thing, and then this crew's doing a Star Wars thing, and then Respawn's doing Star Wars, and then our DICE team is working on Battlefront," and you're like, "Oh cool." Wait, you start counting on your fingers. Hey, that's like 6 games.
So,
and then we got down now, but now look at it. Amy Hennig has left EA. Then another person from another team left. And then someone was hired for Amy's game, and then they left, and that whole game is destroyed now. Respawn eventually gets their game. And when we all get down to it, we only are going to have, I think by the end of this deal, I think by the end of this deal, we will have 4 games that were Star Wars made from EA, of the like 7 that were probably promised. And the reason why I say 4 is I think one more is going to come out, and I think it might be Battlefront 3
God,
because
no!
it just. But here's the thing, though. I think that with all of that said, I mean, I don't. I always like to give the gaming company a little bit more of a. You're gonna remember why everyone has a bad taste in your mouth of your last game, because that's the thing with engineering of video games and programming and stuff. If your last thing failed, you got to fix what you did, otherwise you ain't gonna make money.
If they're competent.
But the other thing is like, everyone proved by voting with their wallet that a game will not succeed. And Star Wars Battlefront 2 was that thing. It was supposed to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And did not.
I am happy that we were able to say, screw this and screw you, EA, for all this BS that you're putting in this game. And like I said, if they're competent or even halfway competent, if they do make a third one, they should learn from their mistakes. Add a Galactic Conquest mode. Add some kind of story or single player, couch co-op, whatever. Make it more like the originals. Like, it's like they took a test and didn't study. Literally, those two, like, everyone talks about those 2 games as like the cream of the crop for Star Wars movies, especially 2. And they're just like, no, we don't need them. We don't need to study.
Yeah, because I think what really drew it all away was the fact that with Star Wars Battlefront 1, the first one that came out on PlayStation 2 and Xbox, they locked it into an era. And they locked it into the original trilogy, 4, 5, and 6. Star Wars Battlefront 2 was in. Am I remembering this right, or am I reversing this? I think I'm remembering this right. Yeah, because Stormtroopers on Battlefront 1 and a Clone Troopers on Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
So in Battlefront 2, it locked it in to 1, 2, and 3. So that was the thing when Battlefront
But with 2, it has Darth Vader on the cover. It has the Clone War, young Obi-Wan, and Darth Vader.
Well, because Episode 3.
Well, yeah.
They can throw him in there because
But still, you can fight. I believe you can fight with Stormtroopers in 2. I believe like it was you picked an era.
But there was a story, wasn't there, in Battlefront? There's like a soft story in Battlefront. Am I remember that right? I haven't played them in decades.
Dude, I haven't.
But anyway, my point is they locked themselves into a box of what they wanted to do with it, and then they built around that thing. And I think with what Star Wars Battlefront and Battlefront 2, the EA creations, what kind of makes them a little bit all over the place, they don't have, okay, what is your point? Like, that's what I think what they don't have. Like, what is their point? Because you're not really, you can do anything. You can have any character. You have Rey battling Maul. You could have Boba Fett fighting not Han Solo, but you can fight like Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you're like, well, I don't know what's happening here because there's so many different characters now. Cool thing. It is a cool thing, but I think it just doesn't put them in the right mind. But I'm relating this back to Jedi Fallen Order, though. This is a new IP.
Yes.
It's in the Star Wars universe, and I think that the reason why I think this game is going to succeed is they have the box, and they're going to build inside that a nice structure of a story, gameplay, and everything they need to do. They don't have to worry about like, oh, well, we have to get this character in here. We got to get this character in here. We got to get this character. They can just they just have fun with what they got instead of like throwing themselves with this wide net.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Am I getting across? I don't know if I am.
I kind of get your point, and I haven't played the second one, but the Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed was great.
Yeah,
I would love to see
the
another
first one was good. The
I
first one
forgot
was
about
good.
that,
I haven't
yeah.
played the second one, so I can't comment
Second
on it.
one is pretty good too.
But like, you lock yourself in the box. It's an original IP, Starkiller, and then whoever this new character's name is going to be, and it focuses the story. Force Unleashed didn't even have like a co-op mode or fighting mode, right? For 2 people, it was
In 2, I think there was.
Okay, but the first one,
yeah, that was single
it was
player.
all
Yeah,
story,
That's all single.
but
player.
it was dope.
Yeah.
And it had,
I mean, who didn't want to be Darth Vader's secret apprentice?
dude, who didn't want to be Darth Vader killing Wookiees?
Yeah, that's also the thing.
The
That's the first thing you do.
First thing you do is throw the Wookiees like
Yeah, you're just wiping people across.
And then like with the multiple endings, that was dope too. You can either fight Vader or Palpatine.
Mm-hmm. But and then like even going into more Star Wars stuff is you could have KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic, that was made by BioWare, which I don't know why they never. What? Wait a minute. Why did EA never give BioWare a Star Wars game? Did they ever do that?
Because they're incompetent fools.
Because that's what I'm saying. Is like BioWare is owned by EA. EA. Everyone always kept talking about, oh, we should get another KOTOR game. We haven't seen a Knights of the Old Republic since Knights of the Old Republic 2. That was on the
you're
Xbox.
going to get Battlefront 2,
Yeah,
bare
and
bones.
it's like, wait a minute. But I mean, if you think about it, they gave them BioWare got Mass Effect, Andromeda, and
we know how that
in the
turned out.
beginning of that, and then in the middle of this deal, they've been making Anthem. So it's like, why did they not get another? Who would have not bought that game? Why is that not a thing? But anyway, my point is like that goes back into they did have the whole universe to work with, because obviously you're playing an open world RPG type of thing. But no, you get what I'm saying. But with KOTOR though, you technically weren't anybody. You were just some random schmuck, and then they created characters around you, and then kind of just let you go into the world.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and maybe the reason why they didn't make KOTOR 3 was maybe because it might mess up the universe of Star Wars, because those technically aren't canon. Anything that's anything that's made in Star Wars that has the name Star Wars since Disney bought it is all canon.
I forgot about that.
So comic books, video games, like all the characters you saw in Star Wars Battlefront 2 are technically canon and can be used in later things. So with that, I guess, what's even cooler, here's the other thing. What's even cooler, oh my God, I just realized something.
Tell me, or tell us.
So Jedi: The Fallen Order comes out in November, right?
Yeah.
It takes place of what I'm judging by I haven't looked at any articles, but I'm judging by the trailer. It takes place between 4 and 5. Could the main character?
You mean 3 and 4?
That's what I meant. 3 and 4. Because he pulls out the thing and it says execute order 66 and then whatever. And so could this character show up in episode 9?
That, or it's going to be a whole other trilogy about him.
Could. It could.
Because we all know, yes, this is going to be the end of this saga, but who knows if
he can show up in the Mandalorian show.
Dude, he could.
On
Rey
Disney
and Finn. Dude, Rey can have another trilogy.
She could.
Or
I think she's
Kylo.
done. But yeah. Yeah, anyway, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, the thing with how, because the only separation between episodes 3 and 4 is roughly about 18 years, because Luke becomes 18 at the time when he starts going on his journey or whatever. So, and we've seen, then again, the main character in Jedi Fallen Order, he is like, on a good day, maybe 25. Let's say he's 25, okay? 18 years passes. He's now in his late 30s. No, he's past that. He's in his 40s at that point, right? I got to do my calculator now.
Where are you going? I might.
Okay, so let's say 25 and he's plus 18. So he's 43 in episode 4. Yes, episode 4. We'll say that. Or no. Hold on. Okay, I'm trying to do math here, but it's whatever. I'm trying to say, can he survive
Yes.
all the way to the end of that?
Yes, you know why?
Why?
The Force.
Okay, sure.
That's all you gotta say.
Yeah, because Obi-Wan shows up in episode 4, but he's definitely
an
a
old
lot
man.
older.
No,
He's
I was
a
gonna
lot
say
older.
Leia
Yeah,
surviving
true.
in space.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's another thing too. Yeah, I don't know. It would be awesome to see that this character does become a good thing. I am also thinking that this is going to be kind of like a Blade Runner type of story, where he's kind of this bounty hunter sort of guy, but he kind of just does his own deal. I don't know.
Oh, so like kind of like Han Solo.
Sort of, but obviously
Blade Runner. But here's Harrison Ford.
Yeah, he isn't that. He isn't that. So here's what I'm hoping. It's a Jedi version of a Han Solo type character.
That would be dope.
Because he's in hiding. He has to keep quiet, and obviously he's like learning his Force powers as it kind of goes. So it's like he kind of does that.
So you mean a cooler version of Rey? No offense to Rey,
Yeah.
but she's like literally a Mary Sue. Like, who's your parents? Doesn't care. She knows the Force.
Okay, yeah.
And that's how Luke was at first.
I think this guy's gonna probably be sort of like that too. And we probably won't get an explanation. He might be like a Superman origin where he kind of
Maybe.
like his parents aren't around anymore. Maybe his parents were Jedi, and then that's
Okay,
he didn't learn.
that'd make more sense.
We'd have to be told that though.
see, it makes sense for Luke. Like when it first off, like, oh, he's just a Gary Stu, and then like, oh no, his father's Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Then you go look at Anakin, and he's like literally Force Jesus.
Yes, he is. He's actually Jesus.
There's actually a reason.
That's so weird.
There's more of a reason for Anakin than Rey. Rey's like, who's your parents? Doesn't matter. No, it does matter. Please.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's the direction though. Like,
So they did say that the game will not be a stealth game, which I didn't really think it was going to be. You're a Jedi, so if you're putting Jedi in your name of your game, I'm assuming I'm wielding a lightsaber, which they did show. They should show the lightsaber. But yeah, I think we're gonna get some sort of like Blade Runner-esque like Jedi / Han Solo thing. Because Blade Runner, where I'm thinking of that, is more of the Ryan Gosling side of it.
I haven't seen that one.
Great film, but it's like more of, it's gonna feel cyberpunky, but you're gonna realize like in your mind you're gonna go, well, this is just Star Wars. It just looks like this. Because when I was watching that one scene in the trailer, there's a part where he's like sitting at a bar and he's talking with one guy, and then he looks over his shoulder and he sees stormtroopers on the other side. I think there's going to be this sort of like, he's undercover most of the time, and it's like up to you to like solve some of the problems of the galaxy as this like secret Jedi guy. I don't know. That's my theory.
Yeah.
Any last minute thoughts for you though? Any last minute theories that you have about this random dude? I think they gave him a name, but I don't remember what they said.
I don't know.
Not in the trailer.
I can't remember. But like I said, I am just very happy it's focusing more on the story of Star Wars, because the Star Wars universe is so big and so vast. And we're just gonna make Battlefront games,
Yeah.
which are great. They're fun. They were.
Yeah.
But it's a waste to just keep making those when you have all this rich lore in Star Wars. So I am happy that Respawn is deciding to say, you know what? We have this great IP that just makes a shit ton of money. Why not take advantage of that?
Sure. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, comment section is open for you guys. If you guys have any predictions for Jedi The Fallen Order, put it down there in the description, and yeah, we'll see what's going on down there. We're moving on.